Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I know you guys have not seen me in a YouTube video in so long, and I did want to come back and, like I said, film more long form videos for you guys. But before I do that, I didn't want to just jump straight into it. I did want to come back on here just to sit down and talk to you guys for a bit, just to let you guys know how I have been doing and how everything has been going in my life so far. So based on the title, if you guys can tell based on the title, then you'll know that this video is basically me talking about my pregnancy, as I am pregnant again with baby number 2. Yay! So that's basically what this video will be surrounded around. Just me basically talking about my pregnancy so far, how I found out, and how everything has been going, including the gender. So I'll include that as well. It's not a secret. I did announce my gender on my birthday, which was January 17th. So I'll be announcing that for you guys as well. So if you guys are interested and you want to learn more about, you know, my pregnancy and how everything has been going so far, it's been quite interesting and quite the roller coaster, so just keep on watching. So I'm just gonna jump right into the video, you guys, because I don't want this video to be too long. I've already tried filming it and my brain was just literally all over the place because I haven't sat down and done a video like this in so long, so it's like so foreign to me. But yeah, we're just gonna not talk too long and just jump right into the video. I don't have my usual viewfinder on my computer where I could like really see myself really big, so I hope the lighting is good. I hope that you guys can see me good, and I hope that you guys can hear me. Most importantly, I hope that you guys can hear me. So if all else is good, which I'm hoping it is, just based on me looking at my viewfinder here, then we're just gonna jump right into the video and we're gonna get right into it. So as I said, just want to announce to you guys that I am pregnant with baby number 2. So I did write down a few things on my notes app because I didn't want to miss anything or forget anything. And I just want to start off by saying how we found out, which is actually pretty interesting. So I feel like I can't even talk about how we found out without jumping into a little backstory of how we got to this point. And I feel like that could even be a separate video on its own, which I'll probably do a separate video on that because there's just so much to talk about around how we got here. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to keep it, I'm going to try my best to keep it nice and sweet. So I'm just going to stick to the topic of how we found out. So my husband and I, we decided to take a trip to Cabo, Mexico to celebrate our 6-year wedding anniversary, and it was on that trip that it was actually confirmed that I am pregnant. So it wasn't really a surprise to me or us that I might have been pregnant because I knew exactly how it happened without going into too much detail, but I can pinpoint the exact day and night it happened. And it wasn't a situation where the pregnancy was it wasn't planned, but it was not planned either. You know what I mean? Like, while we were not trying to get pregnant, we also were not preventing it as well. So obviously, you know, whenever you're in a situation like that, you do know that obviously you can get pregnant. So it wasn't really a surprise to us when, you know, when it was coming down to terms of me realizing that yes, I'm actually pregnant, because like I said, it wasn't planned, but we didn't prevent the pregnancy either. So like I said, we were in Mexico, and before our trip we were obviously planning to go on vacation, and typically my period, it comes like clockwork every single month, like on the dot. I know exactly when my period is going to come. However, the month prior, I was late on my period for about a week and a half, which was a little bit alarming, but my period did end up coming anyways. Maybe just have been my hormones at that time. You know, I might have been stressed. It could have been a various number of reasons as to why I was late that month on my period. So when September rolled around and, you know, we're going on our trip and I'm expecting my period to come before we leave for our trip, it's not coming. So I'm like, okay, this is strange, but I'm not really thinking too much of it because I was, like I said, I was also late the month prior. So I'm just thinking, you know, maybe I'm just a little bit late, and it's probably gonna come when I'm in Mexico, so be it. I'm just gonna pack some pads and tampons and take them with me, and you know, my period is gonna come when I'm there. I'm like packing for my trip. It's like the day before. My period is still not here. We get there, my period is still not here. So at this point, I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, you know, I'm talking to my mom and she's like, you're pregnant. I don't need to tell you, but you're pregnant, girl. So I'm like, I don't, you know, I may be, but at the same time, I may not be. You know, I was late the month prior, so that's just probably what's going on right now. So I think it was like the second or third day, I'm like, okay, I need to, like, you know, be a little bit more realistic and just really think to myself that it's a very, very strong possibility, especially now because I am not one to be so late on my period for my period not to come. So we were like, okay, I think I had to go to Walmart. I had to go to Walmart to pick up a SIM card because my SIM card had run out, and I needed a new SIM card. So I was like, since we're going to Walmart, I might as well pick up a pregnancy test while I'm there, just to make sure, you know, that I am pregnant, so that if I am, I can, like, obviously not have a drink at dinner, or, you know, we're on vacation. So I'm not much of a drinker, but like I said, I will have like a drink or two if we go to dinner, or if we're at the pool, I might have a pina colada. That's about all I drink. So I'm like, if I'm pregnant, I just need to be sure, just so that I can obviously take the necessary precautions that I need to take. We went to Walmart, we picked up a test, and we came back home and it said pregnant. Like, the test didn't even take 2 minutes for it to come back positive. And it actually said it in Spanish. It's so funny. I have a picture. I took a picture of it when the test came back. It didn't even say it in English. I had to Google it to see what it says. So that was actually kind of funny. So that's how we basically found out that I was pregnant. And also, if you guys follow me on Instagram, I posted a get ready with me video where I was getting ready and I slipped so bad and fell directly on my stomach. Okay, it was like the worst fall I had ever experienced in my entire life. Okay, it was so bad. And at that time, I didn't even think, you know, that I was pregnant, but I was. So yeah, that was that. That's basically how we found out. After our Mexico trip, I also had another trip planned to Vegas. So I came home, I packed my bags, and literally within a couple of hours, I was on another 5-hour flight and I was headed to Vegas. That trip, when I tell you I was so sick, this leads me into my next portion of the segment of this video, because I want to talk about my first trimester. So we're just going to jump right into that. So when I went to Vegas, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Okay, and like I said, this is my third pregnancy. Okay, the first was a miscarriage, the second, our daughter, and then this one. But this is my third pregnancy, so I'm already familiar with morning sickness. Okay, and I don't know what it is about my body, but it attacks me like none other. My morning sickness was out of this world. Like, I couldn't even do anything. Like, I couldn't even put on makeup. I don't even think I have one good photo from my trip in Vegas. And if you know me, you know that I take pictures, videos. That's me. Like, I love to create memories, and I was not able to do that on this trip because I was so sick and I was so out of it. Like, all I wanted to do, I went there for a bachelorette, and all I wanted to do was just stay in the room. I was only there for a couple of days, but I was so sick that I literally had to pray my way through that trip. I was just not okay. So I ended up coming back home. We scheduled a doctor's visit with a high-risk doctor, and it was confirmed that I was yet again a very high-risk patient who was New York City and their sirens. I was at risk. I am at risk of, experiencing preterm labor again. So with that, we pretty much already knew when we were in Vegas, because it was the same thing with our daughter. We pretty much already knew before the doctor told me that we had to abstain from sex, child. Like, we pretty much already knew that when we found out in Mexico. So yeah, that was the last time. That was the last time. We were just like, let's just go ahead and get it in right now, because once we leave, that's gonna be it for a minute. So yeah. So on top of that, we had to get I had to get a cerclage put in again. The only difference is with this time versus my previous pregnancy, I put it in at 15 weeks, but they wanted to get ahead of it, they said, so they ended up putting it in at 13 weeks. So with the cerclage, us not being able to do the nasty, us not being able to have sex, obviously, and me just taking it easy and not really being on bed rest, but I can move about. I just have to take it easy. So that's pretty much how we found out. I covered that, and how my first trimester has been so far. But yeah, that's just how the first trimester was. I was at home. I didn't have any sort of appetite whatsoever. Like, I literally could not eat anything. There were days that would go by and literally all I would eat I think the only thing I could tolerate at that time was water. Like, not even juice, nothing was appetizing, which was it was so much different for me versus my previous pregnancy. I wanted to sleep all the time, just like everything that they say you experience during the first trimester when it comes to nausea, when it comes to morning sickness, which for me it lasted all day. I experienced all of that, and I could not wait to be done with my first trimester. So I think it was when I was about like 3.5, maybe 4 months, the morning sickness started to go away, which I was so happy about. As soon as the morning sickness went away, I was literally eating everything in sight, and I'm still eating everything in sight. I'm hungry right now, just thinking about it, because I haven't eaten since I made breakfast earlier, which was about like 12:30. It's 6:08 right now. Second trimester has been going good so far. However, I would say about a couple of weeks ago, I've been experiencing some, lower cramping, which I do know that cramping is pretty normal for the most part, because your body is stretching, like all kinds of things are happening. So, but it was just becoming to the point where it was just becoming unbearable. So I decided to go to the hospital, and just for them to check to make sure that I wasn't having any mild contractions, because I am coming up pretty close to when I gave birth to my daughter the first time around. So I'm kind of in this stage now in my second pregnancy where I'm like super on edge, and I already knew that I was gonna feel like this at this point, because imagine, experiencing preterm labor and you being pregnant again and coming up on that time when you gave birth. So obviously you're gonna feel some type of way, like that's only normal. So I'm just like, oh my god, like just trying not to psych myself out. So I did have to go to the hospital, and they checked me. I was on the monitor, and I was not having mild contractions at that time, which is like, it's so weird. Like, when I was experiencing the pain, where they could tell me exactly what's happening, I was not at the hospital, I was at home. But by the time I did go to the hospital, I was fine, which I probably shouldn't have done that. I should have just went to the hospital when I was experiencing the pain. But I was like, going to the hospital right now, I'm just gonna trust God and everything's gonna be fine. But by the time I had my appointment, I wasn't having any mild contractions anymore and I was fine. However, they did decide to go ahead and give me 2 rounds of steroids just to obviously help the baby in the case that I may have to go into early labor, which we're crossing our fingers that's not the case. But so far, as of today, I am 6 months pregnant, 25 weeks, and I am feeling really good. Baby girl I don't think I mentioned it to you guys before. Like I said, it's not a secret. I did announce it over on my Instagram, but baby girl, she is doing fine. I am doing fine. Am I missing anything? I would say the only downside right now is the fact that I do have to take it super easy. Like I said, I'm not necessarily on bed rest. I don't have to be in bed all day. However, I do have to be off of my feet as much as possible. So with that, and I think a part of the reason why I was having so many cramps and aches and pains was because I was like having to take my daughter to and from school. Usually my husband would do that, but his work hours are in between the times that she has to be dropped off and picked up, so he wasn't able to do that anymore, which meant that I had to do that. So I'm now at the point where I can no longer do that, and it goes without saying that it takes a village, honestly, because I don't know what I would do without my in-laws, especially, you know, my mother-in-law. So she was just basically like, bring my granddaughter to me and I'll be taking care of her until you give birth. And it's like, it's so amazing to have just really supportive people in your corner, because although I do feel some type of way about not being able to take care of my own child, and that's like, you know, that's just, I guess that's just me being a mom, you know, like knowing that I'm not able to take care of my child how I feel like I should, like taking her to school, getting her ready in the morning, dropping her off and doing all these things. But I do understand that it's for the greater good, and I love my mother-in-law so much that she's able to take on this responsibility for us until you know, I give birth. So shout out to her, shout out to a supportive mother-in-law, right? Because I don't know what I would do without her. So yeah, so outside of me feeling good in my second trimester so far, I would definitely say that that is the only thing that's like kind of sort of bothers me a little bit. It's just the fact that because of my situation right now, because of how careful I have to be with this pregnancy, it doesn't allow me to fully be a mom to my daughter, and it does kind of make me sad. But like I said, I just know that it's for the better, you know what I mean? I know that it's for the better, and I know that this is what's right, and I know that it's what's gonna get me to 40 weeks, because that is the goal. So right now, it's probably just gonna give me more time to just sit down and film more videos for you guys. I don't think I'll be doing my fashion reels as much, just because that's obviously me standing up, being on my feet with heels and all that stuff. I'm just really at the point where I don't want to regret anything, you guys. Like, I truly don't. I love filming fashion reels for you guys, but I feel like at this point I may need to just take a step back just for the remaining 3 months. I had to count in my head, just for the remaining 3 months. Like, it's not the end of the world, and I feel like there's a bigger goal at hand. So as much as like I said, I would love to continue filming those videos, I just have to be more realistic with myself, because I would hate to look back and be like, well, I could have done this differently, I had the opportunity to do this differently, and I'm not doing it because, you know, just for the sake of me filming a couple of videos, when I know that I have a little girl here who needs to stay inside until the time comes. So I think I've said enough. I think that's about it. I did ask over on my Instagram for you guys to send me some questions. So the first question is, do you have her name picked out? And yes, I do have her name picked out. However, Aaliyah does not like her name at all. She wants to name her Sophia. She keeps calling her Sophia, and she keeps telling me that the name I picked out is ugly and she doesn't like it. So at first she was like she wanted to name her Aaliyah. So I'm like, Aaliyah, I can't name her Aaliyah because your name is already Aaliyah. So she was like she wanted to name her Aaliyah, and then after that she was just stuck on naming her Sophia. Sophia, that's a cute name, but it's not a name that I want to name my child. Like, I personally don't like the name Sophia. Like I said, it's not a terrible name. Me personally, I just don't like, I don't prefer the name Sophia. But I do have a name picked out for her. Even though Aaliyah doesn't like it, that's fine. Whenever the baby comes, she will appreciate the name that mommy chose for her. Even though Aaliyah doesn't like it, I mean, that's fine. Like, you know what I mean? She's just gonna have to deal with it, get a nickname for her, but I'm not naming her Sophia, even though she's like dead set on her name is Sophia. But yes, we do have a name picked out for her, and it's set. So yes, I do have a name picked out for her. The next question is when is your due date? So I am due in, as I said, I'm 6 months, so if you do the math, I'll be due around May. I'm not exactly going to share when my due date is because I don't even think it is relevant or makes sense, because you know a baby can come at any point. So why are you looking at me? So I'm not going to share the exact due date, but I can share that I am due in May. And the next question is worst symptoms that I've had so far. Well, for my first trimester, I would definitely say that the worst symptoms I had was definitely morning sickness that lasted all day. For my second trimester, I would say that the symptoms I'm having so far, that's like, oh my God, are the back pains. Whew, I don't think I experienced back pains like this, when I was pregnant with Aaliyah. Like, the back pains, it's just, I feel like at this point I'm gonna have to start booking me some prenatal massages every weekend just to maintain with the massages, because the back pain is just out of this world. So that, I would say, so far is my worst symptom. Other than that, I love that I want to eat any and everything within the realm of what I usually eat. So in the first trimester, that was a struggle because I literally wasn't eating anything. I didn't have an appetite for anything. So now I'm just like, you know, everything I see, if I'm like scrolling on Instagram or scrolling on TikTok and I see something, I'm gonna want it. And my latest craving that I've had are these candies, these little mango candies. I don't know if you've seen them on TikTok, but that's what I've been craving. And I actually sent my husband to the store, because I guess they sell them at Walgreens. I sent my husband to the store to go see if he could find it, and they don't sell it at my local Walgreens. I think when I looked it up, it said that they're available in Jersey, which is crazy. Like, why would you not have it at all Walgreens? So, but to answer the question, my worst symptom right now are the back pains that I'm experiencing. The back pains and the lower cramps. What is the difference between this pregnancy and the last? I would say that both pregnancies are pretty much the same, especially now that you know, we know that I'm having a girl. I can definitely compare both, that they're pretty much the same. My morning sickness was the same. The difference here are some similarities and differences. The similarities, the morning sickness was the exact same. The first time around, I didn't have as many food aversions. Like, I would still have morning sickness, but I was able to eat. This time around, I was not able to eat, and I definitely had morning sickness. So yeah, those I would say is probably the only difference between the first pregnancy and this one. Other than that, they're pretty similar. I was high risk last time. I'm still high risk this time. Last time at this point, I was already in the hospital, but thank God I'm home, even though I still have to take it easy, but I'm just not in the hospital. What are you craving? So I kind of answered that before. So basically, pretty much anything that I see, if I'm like on my phone and I'm scrolling and I see something, I'm gonna want it. If I'm like talking to my sister and she's eating something, then I'm gonna want it. It's just crazy. Like, whatever I see, I'm gonna crave for it. Was it planned? It was not planned, however, it was not prevented either. Like I said, I'm definitely going to do a separate video just talking about that aspect of it. But just to answer this question for the sake of this video, it was not planned, but it was not prevented either. So there's that. Okay, how does it feel to be a girl mom of 2? It feels good knowing that I'm having another girl, because I love the fact that Aaliyah will have a sister. I feel like when I set out in my mind to like have another child, that's what I wanted, was for her to have a sister, because I know the importance of having a sister. I have plenty of sisters, and I do have one brother, but I'm very, very close to one sister in particular, and I don't know what my life would have been like if I did not have her. So I'm glad to be able to give that to Aaliyah, even though the age gap is there, but outside of that, I'm still gonna do my best to make sure that they do have a great relationship, so that they can always count on each other and not have to depend on any friends or any of that. So yeah, I'm happy to be having another mini-me. Do you plan on having a natural birth? No, I do not. Give me all the meds, juice me up. Give me all the meds, because I experienced natural birth with Aaliyah because she was born so early, so that was outside of my control. I could not get any meds even if I wanted to, and I don't want to experience that again. So if I can help it, I will be getting an epidural. I feel like everyone says that they'll try to have a natural birth, like an unmedicated birth. Like, I can say that all I want, and then when push comes to shove, I'm over here screaming for the epidural. So I can say that I'm gonna try, right? Like, I'm definitely gonna try to see if I can do it, but if I can't, I'm not gonna pressure myself like, oh, I didn't get to, you know, have a natural birth. No, girl, give me the epidural and call it a day. Like, give it to me. So no, I do not plan to have a natural birth. Yeah, you guys, I don't think there's anything else that I'm missing. I'm gonna give you guys a bump date because I feel like I'm definitely carrying way bigger this time around than I was with my daughter Aaliyah. Like, I'm so much bigger now, it's crazy. And I was looking at a video that I posted on my Instagram, and I was like, oh my god, I'm literally all belly, I haven't gained any weight. And I went to the doctor like 3 or 4 days later, and I'm 150 pounds already. My starting weight was like 138, which is crazy. I've never been this big in my entire life, like 150 pounds. That's crazy. And to think that I'm only gonna gain more weight, but I'm welcoming it all. Like, I don't mind it at all. But yeah, I don't mind it. So let me go ahead and give you guys a little baby bump. But that's how she's looking so far. And I also forgot to mention that in addition, I also have to drink 6 bottles of water every single day. At least 6 bottles of water every single day, because apparently that's why I was having so many cramps, is that I wasn't drinking enough water. And I can say that since I started drinking the water, it's definitely improved with the cramps. I do still get them, but they're not as intense or often as when I wasn't drinking the water. So Hopefully this video was not too long, but if you sat through it, I hope you enjoyed. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not, make sure you go ahead and like this video and subscribe if you have not already. Like I said, I'll definitely be giving you guys more sit down videos, and if you have any ideas of what you guys would like to see from me, what you think, just any ideas of videos that I could do, definitely let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye.